Hello, Sarah.
Hey, Jen.
How are you?
All the better for seeing you today.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. And thank you so much for coming on today. And I think this is going to be one of those moments that we're going to do a deep dive, just going to be ourselves. And we're going to talk about how to unsabotage your love life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So do you want to introduce yourself, lovely Sarah?
I'm Sarah Davies. I have been doing lead generation and business development for quite a number of years. I actually worked it out. I started doing this when I was 19 and I worked for a recruitment company, a well-known one. And in those days, you were given the yellow pages and you had to...
I remember those days.
I know. You were given the yellow pages and you really, really needed some guts to just phone people cold. I mean, nowadays you just can't do that.
No.
And for some reason, luck, whatever, I was very successful with it. Then took a bit of time out to have my children. And then I returned to it when my youngest was about 10. So we're talking 18 years ago. And again, started with, then I think it was something online, like 118 or yellow pages online. Then I sort of specified in more financial, it just fell upon me more financial areas and more client services. And I'm not giving myself any compliments, but I'm actually a good people person.
You are.
You've got to learn to listen as well as to ask questions.
So and that's how we got introduced, wasn't it? That's how
that was it. I really did move into a training sector, dealing with 2 training clients, and that was how I was introduced to you. And in those days, I think you were doing more conferences and putting people into conferences. And
I was doing all the retreats and putting people and finding the people, the speakers and the experts to come in to help with the retreats as well. In those days.
Actually, I then found I enjoyed. You've got to enjoy what you do for it to be successful.
You do.
So if you could get on with yourself and actually enjoyed what you were selling, I hate saying that, selling, then it really worked. You introduced me to 1 or 2 other people that I still work for. So.
It's all about connecting people, isn't it? But we also met at a time when your marriage had taken a turn.
I had gone through a divorce. It wasn't actually that. It was I had been divorced.
Yeah.
I had a very long-term serious relationship of 6 years. And overnight, your words were, he went left, I went right. I didn't say it that way. And it was having met for work purposes, it then became personal.
Yeah.
And my headspace for personal life, family life, and relationships was just, I couldn't pinpoint anything. I'd like to say I just couldn't quite work out where to go with everything.
But did you feel that when you were, because you were a single mum at this point, you were bringing up children, you were too focused on bringing in money, supporting a family, getting yourself back on track? And sometimes when you're doing all of that, it's really hard to give yourself that space.
Well, it was a juggling plate. I was juggling, spinning plates. Sorry, that's the wrong word. Spinning plates. And I was spinning too many. And I had to stop and think things through and prioritise what was more important. And really keeping my home life and business really needed to be concentrated on, and working on myself then became a very important thing to do.
So can we go back a further step?
Sure.
I just want to give people a flavour of the journey you've had, because lots of people will be listening to this saying, great, she's wonderful, she's got her shit together, this woman's got everything together. But I think it's really important for people to understand when a marriage breaks down, and if you get into another relationship fairly quickly without doing that work, what then happens is you're still in that same energy space and you're not attracting the right type of person. You are sabotaging your love life.
I was.
For all the wrong reasons. So can we go back to that space? Is it okay? Are you comfortable?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'd gone through a divorce from the father of my 3 children. I'll skim over this, and I really will. Jumped into another relationship with someone, and I will clearly state this was domestic violence. I'm not going to stay on it any longer, which was very detrimental to me and my 3 children. And it was part of my life between, I'm not even going to go through the years. All I can say was from 2010 to 2012, it was a very, very, very tough period. Eventually, it takes something in your head to go bing as how to deal with it. So I then spent literally a year home alone. That's all I can say is home alone. Me, kids, family. Was introduced to somebody else, and here I thought, I've met the man of my dreams. And I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked on my family. I worked for work. I had 3 children, a house to put. I was the provider. I was provider for everything.
Yeah.
So, mummy had to keep the house, make sure the income, make sure everything. So I wasn't really, now looking back, I can say probably wasn't the right person, because I had to work on that too.
Yeah.
But work on it in a negative way, which was detrimental to myself.
What was negative about that, Sarah? Now looking back through these, educated eyes that you've now got, what was the negativity there?
A relationship needs to be a two-way thing, even if it's 60-40, 50-50, or 40-60. This wasn't. I was giving 70, he was giving 30. And that was something, when you and I met, you described to me.
Yeah. It's like a game of tennis, isn't it?
Mm.
And you can't build up a proper rally unless you have got the same ability, actually.
But I thought I was so in love. And so, this was the person. I kept not putting myself,
trying to make it work.
That's the words you just said. Yeah, I tried, but it couldn't. Anyway, it came to an abrupt end. Looking back now, really it should have stopped prior to that, but it was a rough ride. And that was when, and I can say this, my world fell apart. And I had to go back to where I had been divorced, where I had gone wrong, and restart again. So I also had to keep mummy, home, business. But I decided, with your help, to stop relationships and rethink, work out who was my little close circle, who I could trust, who would be in there, what I did, and put a hold on meeting the one, if there's such a thing.
It's about regrouping, isn't it?
Yeah.
There comes a point, and we all get to it. I remember I was in the same position, and you think, with all these years of experience that I've got, I should actually know what I'm doing for me. But you always think you know better. You always think you know differently. We do. And it wasn't until I actually was speaking to Dr. Terry Allbuck, who's one of my mentors, who I've done a lot of training with over the years. And we were sat in a bar in New York, and she said to me, "What are you doing?"
You said that
to me. Give me another. I know. I say that to everybody else, and I'm saying, "Don't stop using my lines on me, woman." She poured me another large glass of wine and sat me down and said, "Let's have a chat about this," because I think it's one of those things that, and it's one of the things that I know the textbook. I know because I've helped thousands and thousands of people. But it's another thing when you go through it yourself as well.
It's listening and putting into practice what you're told. Yeah. So, there's an old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You were giving me, so it was sheer fluke. You and I met through work. Yeah. And then, of course, one day you said to me, "Sarah, what's going on? Let's have a chat." Oh, you're cleverer than I.
Last words. Let's have a chat, Sarah.
We had numerous chats over quite a few months.
We did.
And I had to find the confidence, and this is something I want to stress to everyone. It's actually having the confidence to go out and date again, but to date with the correct person, not the incorrect.
That's you being the right person, actually.
Well, of course, it's doing the work yourself.
It's all about you being the right person.
It's not just yourself as well. I needed to think, what can someone offer me? And this is where I can now hold my head up and say, because it probably took 2 years of good work on myself. I needed someone to support me, not financially, support me. If I'm not well, support me. If I want to do something, support me. Support me in watching television, walking the dog. Support, just be there, be a team. Yes, everybody's got differences and everyone wants different things in life, but you need to be a support mechanism for each other. And that was what I was not looking for.
Nobody ever does, though, Sarah. When people, you and I know, and we know this very well, is when people put together the lists of what's important to date now and what they're looking for in their current partner or their future partner. It's almost a wish list of everything somebody wasn't, but they're tapping into silly things like height, like money, like job, all of these things that they think are so valuable and so important, when actually the most important thing is, how is someone going to make me feel and how am I going to make somebody else?
I know.
It's about an emotional tick list, not this superficial ladder that I call it.
There you go. And it's not all about, the only way I can word it is I obviously went on a dating app, which was disastrous. I think I went on 3 dates, and on the 3rd date, I don't mind this publishing. I think I need to make everyone have a little laugh, because I can laugh now about it too. I went on a date with, and this is the typical, went on a date with someone who told me he was 53 and 5'9". Well, he wasn't. He was 59 and 5'3", but that's fine.
He got his numbers muddled up. He clearly had dyslexia.
Isn't it figure or numerics? Is it? That's fine.
Yes. Dyscalculia kicked in.
So we've gone and met, and I can laugh, and I apologise to anyone who gets offended with this, but please don't take this personally, because it's taken me a few years to laugh. And anyway, we've sat down and we've ordered a drink and we've ordered a portion of chips and whatever. And he said to me, "And how's your brother?" And my face was a picture. You see, I have a little help in my face. I said, "My brother." Now, anyone who doesn't know, my brother passed away 9 years ago. So I'm looking at him and I'm going, "Oh, how do you know my brother?" He goes, "Oh, I know him really well. I went to school with him." I'm thinking, Sarah, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. He told me he was 53 and 5'9". He says, and then he's asking about my brother. Well, I don't know what happened. And that was a day that every penny dropped. I stood up and I said, "Thank you so much for the drink. I think it's best I leave." I got in the car and I cried the whole way home, phoning my sister, my poor sister, who talked me the whole way through in the car journey home. And that was when I phoned you going, "Jen, I am never, ever going on a date again." So what I'd like to know is, if anyone can beat that, please let me know. And
yes, please tell us your story.
I seriously need to. I just think that one was, this was what, 3-4 years ago now. So, I as everyone knows, grief is a really, really difficult thing to deal with. And I also think
there's no time on grief either. There's no time at all.
It's waves. It comes in waves. It comes, and grief and breakups are actually part of the same. That's something.
Well, a breakup is a massive grieving process.
Loss.
But I always say to people is, you're often grieving not what you had, but what you wanted. It's that grieving process for what you thought it was going to turn into, and grieving for the potential of the relationship that you so craved and wanted and needed. actually.
So moving swiftly on. Another blow, thinking, here we go. I remember phoning you again. Jen, what can I do? Here I am. And that was when you told me to take a back seat. Now, at that time, I had started working, and I'm very happy to say, please tell me off, is I started working with Karina at Simmentov.
Yeah.
Simmentov has taken a huge change now. Karina heads it. Karina is a very soft, gentle, kind lady. You also introduced me to Michelle Beggy of Ignite, isn't it?
Yes.
And I'll always remember your email to Michelle. Michelle, please meet my friend Sarah. She needs to realise that dating isn't so bad after all. No, I think it's get her faith back into dating.
Probably. They
both told me to deep breathe for a couple of weeks. I spoke with Karina. I spoke with, is it Julie, isn't it? And they both had in-depth interviews with me. They both did profiles. Michelle sent me on one date that was absolutely fabulous. And Karina introduced me to someone, and I don't want to say any more, and I'll leave it with that, is due to that, I met the person I am with, who, if you would have told me 4 years ago I would be with my current person who we cohabit with now, I'd have told you, Jen, you're mad. That's not my man. No way would I entertain anyone like that. He's soft, he's kind, he's gentle, he's thoughtful. He's just easy.
He worships you, Sarah.
He adores me. Even when I wake up in the morning looking disgusting, he tells me I'm beautiful. And the most important part, I thought I'd make everyone laugh, when I asked, does my bum look big in this? He says, no. You look gorgeous. Anyway, I know he's lying, but we'll let him get away with it. Just before I came on, I said, darling, do I look okay for a Zoom? I said, you look beautiful. And I adore him. And
but he's not what was on your tick
list. No, nothing.
And this is so important. I want everybody to take note of this. If you're single, if you're dating, just throw those tick lists away. Throw everything away that you are wanting and expecting in a person, because it holds you up. It actually sabotages what you're looking for. And Sarah, when you managed to do that, and it says sometimes it takes a village. Karina, Michelle and I pull together.
You know what? You all spoke to me. You've all three of you are very alike, but you're very different. Karina, I still work for. Michelle, I always pass people to. And you are my guru all the time. I've got
I love working with everybody that you send me, because everyone comes from that same place of, I don't know, they've gone through the pain and they need that enlightenment. And it's a journey we all go through. And I think midlife, especially as women, midlife knocks us hormonally, it challenges us for all different reasons. So not only are we dealing with a broken heart, we're dealing with our emotions and with everything else. We've got all of that being thrown into the mix at this stage in our lives, when we're expected to be logical and thoughtful and recognize the right person when they're stood in front of us. I mean, hello.
No, can't do everything at once. But I do remember Michelle's word is Sarah. She actually, and please don't anyone quote me on this, and I really mean this, is because of my friendship with everyone, and because I was friendly with you, obviously Michelle did, it's an ongoing relationship business wise I have. So Michelle said to me, let me introduce you to 3 people, and should you like this, I obviously paid a fee, but a reduced rate for myself, because I do work for her, so she does get a return of investment from me. She made me realize that what I had been going on, the type of person I've been going out on dates with and expecting, was right myself, was totally wrong. And I remember sitting across a dinner table with a man thinking, you are so nice. And that was when I realised, Sarah, you deserve someone who's nice. Yes. We all deserve. It's not all about the looks and whether they can take us to Barbados and whether they can buy us a handbag and take us to, I don't know. It's about watching Netflix together. Okay, hang on. So we can both laugh. Jen, where did I go Friday night for the name of love?
I think you went to a football match and I think we were messaging each other while you were freezing in your thermals.
Now, anyone who knows me knows I thought of going to a football match. I would rather, but...
And I have promised to go with you next time with my partner. I don't know why I said that.
I'm never, but we'll do a little bit, we'll go club level where we get a...
Some warmth. I just need my toes.
For anyone who knows me, football matches is lovely on television in the warmth with the dogs. I went and sat at Wembley in the freezing cold, but that's what I've learned. It's given to no one's right. Not everybody's got their faults. Everyone's got whatever. It's how you work with them. And that's something both you, Michelle, and Karina have taught me. You've got to come out of your comfort zone. Someone who you would have gone, no, no, no. Do you know what? I would have said no. Look at this now. We're now, what, nearly 4 years later? I can't even remember.
And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So what in particular changed for you in this? Is there anything?
I met someone who cared.
Okay. Cared. But what did you change to get to Mr. Caring?
Because I've always said, like you know, I'm a woman. I run my own business. I've run my own home. I do everything. It's me, 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 and me. And it's allowing someone in just to help. Whereas before I would say, oh, God, you know, this is broken. That's how, get someone. Well, actually, I mention him, Darren will always, darling, just give it a day and I'll do it. Whereas I'm like, no, 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 I'm really capable. I don't need help. I don't. Do you know what? We all need a little bit of help. We need someone to say, hey, sweetie, it's okay. And that is where I'm very much like, oh, no, it needs to be done yesterday and this, that, and the other. And it doesn't. We can do it together tomorrow.
Absolutely. And it's shifting gear from I to we.
That's, you've just hit the nail on the head.
And I think that's so hard when we're independent women. And I'm exactly the same. And Steve, my other half, says it's the same to me. As he says, you're not here on your own anymore. There's two of us in this. It's not just you. But I think when you've spent a lot of time on your own as a single mum bringing up kids, you're so dependent on me, myself, and I. That the hardest thing is actually to step into we mode.
That's the hardest thing. And then the biggest decision we did was we sort of got to a point, we've been together 2.5 years, and where are we going? And here we go. I haven't lived with anyone for 10 years. So like you now, I now live with him. Oh dear, the challenges are daily.
But what are the challenges? Is it for you to switch into we mode? Is that the challenge? Is to shift yourself out of it's not just me anymore. It's an us. It's a we. It's a we. We're a team.
Isn't there a saying? Men don't hear. They always say you can always tell your partner everything because I can't remember. No, it's called selective hearing.
Will remember every word.
It's called selective hearing. Anyway, so that's all it is. It's just, you know what, we laugh. Laughing is important. Laughing, finding, and also once you do get into we're in our little world and we're together every single day. Friday night was our date night at football, which, yes, it wouldn't have been my choice, but we actually had a lovely time. And last night was our movie night, so I got to pick the movie. That's, you know, he's doing stuff tonight, tomorrow, you know, and it is finding a happy medium, and you've got to give. You've both got to give. And that's where I now go back to where I was 10 years ago or 4 years ago, and it's learning for it to it's got to be that fine blend, 50-50, 60-40, or 40-60. That's where, and it took a lot of time and work to understand that.
And it's also giving without any expectation of getting anything back. I think sometimes whatever you get back, be grateful for and be thankful, and make sure that you're saying your thank yous and not expecting things. Because I think one of the things when I work with couples is there are a lot of people that say, well, I'm expecting him to do, I do all of this, so I expect him to do, dun, 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 dun. And that's a disaster. That's just a recipe for disaster. Because when you expect too much, the things you have to sit down, you have to work out, even the silly little things, domestic chores. Who's going to empty the dishwasher? Who's going to put the washing? do little things together. You know, stuff doesn't get put in the dishwasher. It doesn't stay on the top.
I say boys' jobs and girls' jobs, and as we're only one boy and one girl, I think the girls' jobs are 90% and the boys' jobs are 1%.
We're actually quite good here since we've cohabited. We're pretty equal. We're pretty equal, even to the point of, okay, I'm changing the beds. And come and help.
Oh, no. Can I will say this now. This is the only thing I'm a little bit still myselfish. Cooking and housework is me. Everything else is him. So do you know what? Bins, DIY jobs, whereas I normally call someone, no. And no, I actually enjoy, I'm a little bit old-fashioned like that. I like to be the feeder. I like to be the tidy.
Isn't that funny? Because I think Steve's lived on his own for quite some time. He loves to get in there. And sometimes we'll fight over who's doing the no, I'll do the dishwasher. No, it's my turn to do the dishwasher. No, it's like,
exactly the same.
Let's do it together. You do the top rack. I'm shorter. I'll do the bottom rack.
And I'm laughing and I keep repeating myself, 4 years ago, I would never have thought of this process, how it is.
Well, you never even thought you'd live with anyone again.
Never.
We
never
had that conversation of, right, we're never living with anyone again, been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, still recovering from that. But look, both of us here now, we are living with someone, we are both happy, we're in something that we never would have expected.
Never.
In a million years to be in.
Very, very, very thankful for your guidance, Michelle's guidance, and Karina, which is another reason why I'm working with the three of you again, and it's a breath of fresh air.
It's wonderful for all four of us to be collaborating on a wonderful project. And we will be putting a link to your project on the sites that this is going to go out on.
Oh, please put it on your site, whatever you want.
Everywhere. We'll put it everywhere, and
I think it's wonderful. I'm walking evidence of your therapy work, your coaching, your guiding. I am.
You are. You're a wonderful success story, and I'm so grateful that you've taken the time today to share so personally and so vulnerably your journey. And I'm so glad that we're able to sit here today, the other side of it, and not still in the thick of it. And you really did embrace everything that I threw at you.
As much as I didn't like it, let me tell you as well.
It's very uncomfortable. Doing the work is very uncomfortable.
It is, but you've got to
do it myself.
You've got to do it. Otherwise, it's just, you do. You do.
You definitely do. Well, Sarah, thank you for fizzing and telling today. I think your fizzing today is all hot honeys and lemons, isn't it?
We've just both been a bit, since we stood out in that freezing cold, we're both feeling rather fluey, but we're fortunate. He's working in that room, I'm in this room, and we get on with it.
It's fantastic. Thank you so much, and I look forward to what the future's going to bring.
Hopefully lots of things.
Lots and lots. Take care. Thank you.